Hello everyone, Dark Blaine here, back playing some more AFK Arena. And in this video, I want to look at Fane's skills, signature item, furniture, and engraving. So I'm going to go over to the Portraits tab, and I will scroll down to where Fane is. Okay, here's Fane. First impressions of his look, he looks really cool. Yeah, he looks like he came out from the sea, like an undead zombie from the sea. He has like a big hook on his side here. Yeah, he looks really cool. So yeah, like the patch notes said, he is a Graveborn hero. He is an agility based hero with a support class, and his role is a debuffer. So hopefully he's going to do some debuffing here. Let's start with his skills, starting with his ultimate ability, Malign Judgment. Fane uses chains to restrict the enemy with the highest attack rating. During the following 5 seconds, the restricted enemy loses health equal to 120% of Fane's attack rating every second, and cannot move or use skills. If the control effect prematurely ends, the enemy will be immediately dealt damage 1 time that is equal to 310% of Fane's attack rating, which ignores all of the enemy's defense. If a bone prison exists on the battlefield, its duration will be extended by 5 seconds. Level 2, when the control effect prematurely ends, the enemy will be immediately dealt damage 1 time that is equal to 410% of Fane's attack rating, and that ignores all the enemy's defense. And at level 3, enemies cannot recover health or energy while restricted by chains. So yeah, he will use his chains to restrict the enemy with the highest attack rating, and they will be restricted for 5 seconds, and they will lose health and energy with the level 3. And if the control effect prematurely ends, they'll be dealt 410% of Fane's attack rating as damage. So that sounds really cool. And if there's a bone prison, the duration will be extended by 5 seconds. So with the bone prison, looks like there'll be a 10-second thing here. 10 seconds of losing health and energy. So that sounds really cool. Let's move over to the second skill, Prisoner of Despair. Fane summons a bone prison on the enemy side of the battlefield that exists for 30 seconds. Enemies that leave the bone prison lose 2% of their max health every second, but shall not lose more than 150% of Fane's attack rating. Enemies within the bone prison have their energy recovery reduced by 25%. Level 2, enemies outside of the bone prison also lose 15 haste points. Enemies within the bone prison have their energy recovery reduced by 40%. And at level 4, bone prison exists for 35 seconds. So it's existing for 35 seconds. That's a long time. That's a big percentage of the battlefield this bone prison is going to be on, because remember the battle only lasts for 90 seconds. So that's over a third of the battle time. And yeah, they'll lose haste with the level 2, which is very good, and they'll have their energy recovery reduced by 40% while they're in the bone prison. So yeah, no matter if they're in the bone prison or outside the bone prison, they'll have debuffs to them, and it just looks really cool. The third skill, Soul Impaler. An enemy outside of the bone prison is pulled inside of it and dealt damage equal to 5% of their max health and cannot move for 2 seconds. Damage dealt to the enemy cannot exceed 250% of Fane's attack rating. Level 2, enemy is dealt damage equal to 8% of their max health. Damage cannot exceed 400% of Fane's attack rating. Level 3, enemy cannot move for the following 3 seconds. And level 4, remember this is the engraving. Each time you successfully impale an enemy, the Unscrupulous Jailer skill cooldown is immediately reset. So yeah, this one's just basically going to pull the enemies inside of the bone prison, deal damage to them, and they cannot move for 2 seconds. They can't move for 3 seconds with the level 3, And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the engraving skill looks pretty cool. We haven't looked at this skill yet, so I'll be looking at that skill next. The Unscrupulous Jailer. Gigantic rolling logs hurtle towards enemies within the bone prison, dealing 100% of Fane's attack rating as damage to them, also knocking them backwards. Each time damage is dealt, 65% of the damage value is divided equally between Fane and his most injured ally, and returned to both of them as health. If there are no other allies on the battlefield, the full amount of health is returned to Fane. Level 2 damage dealt is increased to 110% of attack rating, level 3 120% of attack rating, and the second engraving skill, level 4, enemies struck by rolling logs are terrified for 4 seconds. So yeah, gigantic logs are hurled at the enemies that are in the bone prison. They'll be dealt damage, and some of the damage will be returned to Fane and his most injured ally as health. And the engraving, enemies struck by the rolling logs are terrified for 4 seconds. So yeah, doing even more stunning here. And yeah, that ability looks really cool. Yeah, but the both of the engraving skills look pretty cool. So yeah, each time you impale an enemy, logs will be hurled at the enemy, and if you have the plus 60 engraving, the enemies will be terrified for 4 seconds. So yeah, we'll just have to see how often enemies will get impaled here. Okay, I'm gonna look at the signature item here. Bone Hook. Signature item skill, Prison Master. Each time an ally enters or leaves the bone prison, they are granted a shield that has a value equal to 250% of Fane's attack rating that exists for 5 seconds. This effect can be triggered once every 8 seconds. So each time an ally enters or leaves the bone prison, they'll be given a shield. So that's really cool, giving the allies a shield. Plus 10, each time an ally enters or leaves the bone prison, they are granted a shield that has a value equal to 320% of Fane's attack rating. So it's just increasing the shield. Plus 20, when entering or leaving the bone prison, the majority of the enemy's buffs are removed. So yeah, when they enter or leave the bone prison, their buffs will be removed. That sounds pretty cool. Plus 30, for every 8 seconds the enemy is in the bone prison, crit amplification is permanently reduced by 6 points, and crit damage resistance is permanently reduced by 6 points. This effect stacks up to a maximum of 5 times. So yeah, this will get rid of a maximum of 30 points for both the crit amplification and crit damage, but this is only for every 8 seconds. So yeah, you have to keep them in there for, if you want to get the full effect of this, you have to keep the enemies in the bone prison for a maximum of 40 seconds. Yeah, you have to keep them in there for 40 seconds to get the max use out of this plus 30 signature item. Overall, this signature item looks pretty good here. I'm assuming that plus 30 signature item would work pretty well here. And looking at the furniture for Fane here, it's called Soul Torture. With a 3/3, duration of the bone prison is extended by 5 seconds for every enemy that dies within it. So this one is going to rely pretty heavily on enemies dying in the bone prison. And yeah, it's going to extend it, but it's going to extend it by quite a few seconds. If you're able to get most of the team to die in the bone prison, it'll extend it quite a bit. 9 of 9, Fane receives 10% less damage for each enemy within his bone prison. So again, relying pretty heavily on that bone prison. So yeah, if you have like 4 heroes within the bone prison, Fane will receive 40% less damage here. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I feel like it'll be kind of situational though. Yeah, it depends on how many enemy heroes you have within the bone prison and how many heroes die within the bone prison as well. I feel like it'll be pretty situational, but I think it'll be pretty cool to see that work. And okay, I looked at the skills, signature item furniture, and I also looked at the engraving with the bottom 2 skills as well. I'm going to go over to the Arena of Trials, and I'm just going to test them out. Okay, here we are. the actual arena trials are not open yet, so we just have this little island. I'm gonna go over to the wooden dummy. I just want to see how well he works out here. I'm just gonna take off the ×2 speed because, yeah, I'll just take that off so I can actually see the battle, see at 1 speed how his abilities work. And there's his bone logs, and I'm assuming that the bone prison is up, but I just don't see it right now. I'm assuming that it's up, because yeah, the logs are going, so the bone prison has to be up here. Maybe if I exit the battle and re-enter, maybe that will allow me to see the bone prison. Oh, there it is. Wow, that actually covers a lot of the enemy backline. That bone prison covers a lot of the enemy backline. Like, yeah, this I was thinking a lot of these skills are going to depend on how big of a radius this bone prison is, and that is definitely a big radius. Yeah, I feel like his skills will work just fine with this bone prison. Yeah, and it just disappeared there, unfortunately, but yeah, the logs are still going now. Yeah, he's just hitting everyone with his chains. There's his ultimate ability, trapping people in his chains there. There it is again. Doing quite a bit of damage to everyone. It's pretty much killing everyone instantly. It might be because that their health is pretty low, but yeah, I want to see him use his ultimate ability on a hero that has a lot of health. And there we go. There it is on that backline hero, doing quite a bit of damage to them every second. So yeah, very nice. And there are the logs once again. No one's on that side of the battlefield right now, so I don't know if it'll really do anything. Yeah, I feel like quite a few of his skills is going to rely on the enemies being in the backline. So I can imagine heroes like Nara not really working with him, because Nara pulls heroes towards the allied side. Maybe also Athalia as well. I don't really see working. That's just initial thoughts, though. Yeah, just really any hero that pulls enemies towards the allied side of the battlefield. I do not see working with Fane. So yeah, those are all of his skills there. He looks pretty cool, looking really cool. Okay, let's go over to this battle is here, this Arena Guardian, and see which heroes they're providing us with. So, looks like, yeah, they have Fane here, obviously, and we can't take him out. Looking at these heroes, let's go with Halus. Don't want to go with Athalia or Nara. Go with Torn, I guess. I don't recall him having any abilities to push enemies towards the allied side of the battlefield. And let's go with I'm gonna go with Rigby, just why not? And I'll go with Kren back there. Okay, let's see how well this team works. Let's see how well this works. Yeah, I have the ×2 speed off. Hopefully this battle actually plays out here. And yeah, the bone prison isn't up once again, but yeah, I'm thinking the bone prison will go up. Yeah, I don't know if he'll do best in the front line or the back line. But yeah, he's a support hero, which makes me want to put him in the back line, but also I don't know if he'll do best in the front line. In the Arena Guardian, they have had him in the front line, so. And we won that battle pretty easily. And yeah, Kren doing a lot of damage. Kren does a lot of damage. And he's doing quite a bit of damage, though. Oh yeah, he's doing quite a bit of damage and doing a little bit of healing as well. So yeah, I got that victory down. So yeah, everything is covered about him. My thoughts on him is I feel like I feel like he's going to be somewhat situational, especially with that furniture. But yeah, I definitely don't think he's going to do well with heroes that push enemies towards the allied side of the battlefield. Like, I don't think he's going to do well with the 5-pull. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do well with Iran and Athalia and Nara and heroes like that. But that's just my opinion, though. Yeah, that's just my opinion. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. There'll be a button above my head that will allow you to do that. And if you want to see some more of my other videos, there'll be some videos to the left of your screen. And thanks for watching.